Stryker is a great cameo for players who like to play rushdown or have a move that's kind of negative and complementing it with a cameo that allows them to be safe. Also, baiting your opponent to press a button in certain situations where they might not realize that Stryker's on the screen or even the grenades on the screen, but Stryker's not. This can cause a lot of confusion in your opponent, especially when you're pressuring them and they press a button and you get a trade combo off of Stryker. Stryker also complements you in so many different ways, and we're going to talk about them. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jay-Z Bottom Lip, and today we're going to break down Stryker cameo. All right, first, let's talk about the things that he gives you. He has a close bomb. He has far bombs. Far bombs and close bombs have their situations where in some cases you would want to do close, especially if you're going to do a side switch like this, right? Now, if you want to use it for pressure, you would want to use like the far bombs. Like if I wanted to run at my opponent, I can complement it like that. So many different things that you can do with this cameo, but these two are really good at complementing in different playstyles and situations and scenarios. Now, you also have in low, and you also have an overhead. These moves are also plus on block, and they also guarantee you sometimes setups, depending on what characters that you're playing. You have a bomb set or anything like that, you can mix them into a button, overhead or low. They have the gas, bomb goes off. It's really good for that sense as well. Okay, so this string right here that usually is negative, you can now do this into a low or overhead, kind of makes your opponent. Depending on what character you're playing, this can be very good for you. And this can also mix your opponent, especially if you're playing like Johnny Cage or if you're playing like Smoke. These things are really good. Now, the downside to Stryker, in my opinion, is that he kind of comes back kind of slow. As you can see at the very top, comes back very, very slow. See that? So that's the downside to this character. But he also has a lot to contribute and offer to your character as well. For an example, I have Reiko right here, and I wanted to show you a few things that you can do with this character. Also, in the latest patch, Stryker is now able to turn his grenades, his back R1, into a actual gunfire squad or whatever you want to call it. By holding R1 and back, you'll be able to shoot your opponent. From here, you can do multiple things. You can do grab combos, untechable grab combos. You can go for a command grab, so on and so forth. They have to respect it because there's nothing that you can do. So for an example, you can do things like this. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Sorry. So let's go for damage. Okay. Right, so you can do things like that. This is really cool to do because this is going to help you get a lot of damage and help you in clutch situations where you have to make a comeback factor. Also, keep in mind that this character takes a lot of resources and they're very slow. So utilize him correctly and time everything correctly as well. Another thing that you also have to realize is that you can do things like this that I was talking about earlier, and they can't tech this, so like things like that. Like I said earlier, he's also really good at covering your options. So let's say that you wanted to do something like this. Stryker can now make that safe for you, or relatively safe. And on top of that, you can start going for more staggers while you have Stryker out. So like you do this string or a string that doesn't have a gap, you can call Stryker to steal your turn back again. So like something like this, they have to respect it. This allows you to go for mix now. So you can do things like this. Oh, excuse me. Maybe going for a grab in essence, or you can just now do like staggers. Maybe for whatever reason you were needing that much damage or you just wanted to cash out really quick, you can do that in some clutch situations where you just need to take that win. You can do things like that. You can also even do things like this and take your turn back if you time it correctly. Also, the patch before this one, I believe Stryker now launches you with his grenades depending on the opponent's state. What that means is if the opponent is airborne, sometimes they'll be able to be bounced. That's part of like the new Stryker if you aren't familiar with him. So like now you can do things like this. can also do this off of your low. Sorry. Right. And this will help you out a lot of times, especially on Oki. So like, let's say I did something like this. Sorry. Let's say that my opponent doesn't block and they just get hit for whatever reason. Sorry. How do I want to show you guys? Let's do this. I can do that, or I can overhead. Mix you off that. You don't have to go for these combo routes. Just kind of was showing you. All right. There's a reason why I have Conan on the screen. Is because I wanted to give you guys an example of when a cameo is going to work and what cameo is not going to work. So really quick, I wanted to show you the effect of the far grenades. So remember I told you that if the character is airborne when you hit them, it starts to bounce. Not necessarily is that the case when it comes to your far grenades. When you utilize those, they will sometimes launch your opponent. So be careful with that. Actually, they launch all the time, actually. So let's say that I wanted to go for something like this. See how that launches him? It doesn't keep him grounded. So just be careful with that. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because let's say that my opponent is in the corner. Right now he's in the corner, right? So I can do things like this and cancel this into pressure. That's one thing that Stryker also offers to certain characters that have run cancels or just cancels in general, right? So I can do things like this and then keep my turn. Sorry. Why does that happen? Hold on. What? Hold on. You can do that, right? I'm trying to do this string. There we go. You can do things like that. Not showing you optimal combos, but I'm basically just showing you that you can cancel your stance into Stryker and he'll be able to combo for you. This is very helpful for certain characters, and this is also really helpful if you want to go for certain setups as well. You can create so many mind games off things like this because you can do this on block or you can do this on hit. So now your opponent's going to be scared to press a button because you have grenades. This is really good for even going for negative strings that I was telling you earlier. So like now I can do things like that and my opponent's going to be scared. I can also even do things like this and that's going to keep me safe. I can also do things like this and I'm going to be safe. So just keep that in mind when you're utilizing this team. It's also really good with certain moves. So for an example, if I wanted to go for something like this for whatever reason, you'll be able to combo things like that. Last but not least, Stryker also gives you a restand. So for whatever reason, let's say that I hit my opponent with an airborne move, I can restand him. Now, Conan is privileged because he has a string that actually, he has a string that actually already restands you. So it doesn't make sense to do that with Conan, but certain characters don't get restands and you can actually get a restand with Stryker. And it's plus enough where you can jail your opponent and they can't jump. So it would look something like this. I have the AI set to jump. As you can tell, he could not jump after that. So you can create mind games and create layers with your opponent off of restand, but at the cost of damage. So a lot of times, Stryker is kind of slow to grabbing your opponent. So you would have to change up your combos sometimes or go for strings that keep a little more air trajectory when you do the restand. Just keep that in mind when you're utilizing Stryker restand. Also too, I believe that on block it's also safe as well. So like if I wanted to go for something like this, you can, and on block as well. So you do things like this. Oh no, he's not gonna block, unfortunately. So I can do things like this. and that's going to be safe. I also think this is plus if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to turn this on just to show you guys really quick. Yes, +2, and this is +1, and this is +6. And grenades are just going to keep you insanely plus. So just keep that in mind when you're utilizing them. So like this string that has a gap, like this one right here that has a gap, you can duck, but no longer can you do that. And you can also bait your opponent to press right there and they'll die for it. So I'm going to set the AI to like poke after my string. So now if I did this string, hold on, I got to make the second hit whip. See how you can poke there? I can bait that. And I can get a combo for that. So that's pretty cool, right? So let's see. Right, just for poking. These are things that you can do to bait your opponent. So Stryker is really good in so many different cases, situations, and scenarios. Keep in mind that Stryker is a little more slower when it comes to recharging, but not only that, he's also very slow when it comes to throwing out his grenades. At first, he used to throw them really quick and he used to just stand there. Now he takes a few more steps, then throw the grenades. So learn your spacing when you're utilizing it, because sometimes the grenades can like actually go past your opponent. And if you wanted to like wake up down poking to like a special move or something like that, you can. But just keep in mind, like, it's really hard to do when Stryker is super close, especially in certain cases where you might be close to your opponent. So like doing things like this might not work just because like Stryker is super close. I mean, you're super close to the corner, and since Stryker has to take a few steps to actually throw his grenades, they can go past you. That's the only thing that you have to keep in mind. Other than that, I love Stryker. Anybody who watches my stream will let you know that I use Stryker with a lot of my teams. But that's about it for Stryker, guys. If you have any questions, comments below, just let me know. I stream almost every day, so if you guys have any questions, you can always tune in the stream. Anything else other than that, you can join the Discord. But anyways, have a good one, guys.